April 1945. The war in Europe was dying, collapsing under the weight of its own brutality. But in the heart of the United States, far from the ruins of Cologne, Munich, and Berlin, a transport truck rattled into Camp Red Rock, a POW reception center tucked deep in the Oklahoma countryside. Dust swirled behind it as the truck rolled to a stop. Standing at the gate was Lieutenant Evelyn Carter, a crisp-uniformed Women's Army Corps officer known for her calm authority and unwavering fairness. She had processed thousands of prisoners before, but never a group like the one in the truck. Inside were 38 German women. They were not soldiers, not saboteurs, not fanatics. They were clerks, nurses, radio operators, secretaries, women swept up in a collapsing empire and carried across the ocean by forces far bigger than themselves. As they stepped down one by one, Carter felt something twist in her chest. These women weren't defiant like some posts. They weren't proud. They weren't angry. They were broken. Faces hollow, cheeks sunken, hair matted and brittle, uniforms stiff with dirt and sweat, and their smell. It wasn't filth. It wasn't laziness. It was survival, a stench formed by months without proper soap, without proper supplies, without even the dignity of being able to wash like human beings. Carter exchanged a glance with Sergeant Lewis, her interpreter. These women look like they've been through hell, Lewis whispered. Carter nodded slowly. No, she murmured. They look like they never left it. Carter began the standard intake process. Sergeant Lewis, tell them they'll be taken for medical examination, then to showers. They'll be given soap, clean uniforms, and dinner. Lewis translated. What happened next stunned everyone. A young German woman, maybe 21, clapped a hand to her mouth and began to cry. Not light tears. Not quiet sadness, but gut-wrenching, body-shaking sobs. Another woman gasped. Seif? Work like Seif? Soap? Real soap? Her voice cracked in disbelief. Several others began to tremble. Then a woman in the back whispered, Und Wasser? Warmswasser. And water? Warm water. When Lewis translated the American response, yes, just water, as much as they want. 3 women dropped to their knees. Another burst into hysterical crying. One leaned against the truck and slid down. Covering her face like a child, Carter stepped forward, startled. Sergeant, what is wrong with them? Lewis knelt beside the nearest prisoner, who could barely speak. Her German was fragmented by sobs, but the meaning was unmistakable. We haven't washed properly in a year. Not with water, not with soap. We thought you meant to punish us. Carter inhaled sharply. My God, these women thought a shower was a threat. Carter stopped the medical exam. Take them straight to the showers, she ordered softly. Skip everything else. Let them just be clean. The shower building was ordinary concrete floors, metal pipes, steam hissing from the vents. But to the German women, it was a palace. Soap-white, pure, fragrant, sat in perfect bars on a shelf. One woman reached out as if touching a miracle. Another held a bar to her face and inhaled sharply, her shoulders shaking as tears streamed down her cheeks. When warm water burst from the pipes, a sound rose from the room. Not laughter, not screams, but the quiet, broken sobbing of people remembering what it felt like to be human. Some washed their hair over and over, watching months of dirt run down the drain like the war itself disappearing. Others simply stood there, letting the water hit their skin, too overwhelmed to move. An older woman, gray streaks in her thinning hair, stood fully clothed beneath the spray until finally, after minutes of shaking, she whispered, Ich dacht. Ich word nie wieder warmes Wasser spüren. I thought I would never feel warm water again. American guards standing outside turned away, blinking hard, human suffering had a sound. This was it, later in clean uniforms, wrapped in blankets with real soap in their possession like sacred relics. The German women were quieter, calmer, almost peaceful. During the delayed medical exam, the truth emerged fully. Severe malnutrition, untreated infections, chronic dehydration, skin lesions from washing with sand, frostbite scars, broken ribs that had healed badly, psychological trauma from months of filth and shame. One woman whispered, "Without soap, without water, we stopped feeling like women. We stopped feeling like people." Dr. Morrison, the camp physician, closed his notebook and looked away, swallowing hard. "This isn't a military failure," he murmured to Carter. "This is a civilization collapse." Over the next days, a strange transformation occurred. The women talked, they opened up, they described Germany's final months, cold days with no heating, hospitals without medicine, weeks without washing. Children covered in sores, whole towns without functioning water systems. One nurse confessed, "We weren't captured, we were rescued." Another said, "We were told Americans were monsters, but you gave us water and soap. I don't know what to believe anymore." Carter never forgot that. The enemy had feared cruelty. Instead, they found compassion months later after repatriation. A bundle of letters arrived from Germany. One stood out. It read, "You gave us soap when we expected pain. You gave us water when we expected punishment. You gave us dignity when we had forgotten we were human. I will never forget what your country did for us." Carter kept that letter in her desk until the day she died, because that single bar of soap, that simple act of warmth and water, had revealed something deeper than strategy or military victory. America did not win with cruelty. America won with humanity. And sometimes history turns not on weapons, but on a moment when someone says, "Yes, just water." Tell us in the comments, where are you watching from? We love seeing how far our stories travel across the world. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss these powerful true stories brought to life.